He's not cool. It's wise. There's, okay.
You need the microphone?
No, it's fine.
And I don't. He's probably good.
Come on. Give you that.
Yeah.
Hello.
Whoa.
Good.
Hi.
You don't know it that close.
I'm going to eat the mic, evidently. So, hello, everybody. Sorry for the late setup. It typically takes me about 10 minutes, and the Wi-Fi is not working in this place. So, we're going to make do and kind of do this a little bit different. We are streaming live on Facebook Live, so if you want to say hi to the rest of our membership.
Hi.
Okay. So, before I call, I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order at 16:12. My name is Zachary Dykes. I'm your newly elected Missouri APCO president, and I'm going to kind of skip ahead of our normal agenda items, and we're going to go to old business point A, which is Roger Martin introducing our new board. That way this kind of makes sense because due to COVID and the postponement of our MPSCC from March to May, our new board took office in March, and now it's May. So we want to kind of introduce our new board to you guys.
It is a little unusual. We will be sworn in tomorrow night, but there is a business to take care of. We decided to go ahead and make the officers that were elected.
Tonight.
Tonight, I'm sorry. Tonight. We decided to go ahead and make the officers that were elected take their new positions and begin working as well. Zachary's already told you he was elected as president. I would like to say thank you to Steve Hoskins for working as president for so many years. Your name if you'll just kind of wave your hand. J.R. Webb is our vice president. Secretary of the board is Angela Rogers. I won't say where you're from because I'll forget.
Scott County.
Treasurer elected was Roger Martin. And our executive council representative is Cheryl Karnarski. If I forget any of those folks, our regional representatives, we've got Sarah Lynn Hayes from the Northwest region on the phone. We have anybody from the Southwest region on the phone. We've got from the Northeast region, Steve Porter from the Northeast region, from the Southeast region, we've got Dawn Moore. And from the Central region, we've got Angie Steedman. Those positions did not change during the election, so that's why it was so quick. So hi. And if I forgot anybody, I apologize. Shelby, I'm sorry. Did I say Northeast? I said Corte. Northeast was Shelby Creed. I'm sorry. I said that wrong. Mr. Corte is still our representative to the Nagaland Circuit region. I got that confused right there. He's held too many positions. And that guy has not changed. Just the same old thing. Never changed. He's our commercial advisor.
Okay.
I didn't have my list in front of me, so.
So yes, welcome to all the new board members and the returning board members in their new positions. Thank you, Cheryl, for taking on the headache that's going to be speaking to the National Committee sometimes. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Angela, and she'll take a roll call of our officers.
For a roll call, President Zachary Dykes.
I'm here.
Vice President J.R. Webb.
Here.
Myself as Secretary. Treasurer Roger Martin. Executive Council Representative Cheryl Karnarski. Here. 911 Service Board appointee Stephen Forte.
Here.
Commercial Advisor Matt Ryan. Southwest Region Andy Bailey.
Here.
Southeast Region Dawn Moore. Here. Central Region Angie Stifelman. Here. Did I mess that up? Northwest Region Sarah Lynn Hayes.
Sherilyn here.
Northeast Region Southern Region.
Do we have a quorum?
We have a quorum.
Cool. We have a quorum. I'll also turn it over to you for review of minutes from our February 11th board meeting and our chapter membership.
Our minutes from our February 11th meeting were posted to PS Connect.
Just,
This is Cheryl, I made the motion to accept the minutes as presented.
thank you, Cheryl. You have a second? Okay, so motion by Cheryl, second by Matt Knight. Any discussion? Huh? Do you have discussion? Roger has discussion.
The amendment to this
Okay, there was an amendment added as well, that is not on this one. The amendment is the election result announcement that was March 16th. So Cheryl, will you amend your motion?
Yes, I'll amend it to include the adjustment.
Okay, so Cheryl will amend her motion for an adjustment. Matt seconds. Any discussion on that? Okay. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Roger, I'll turn it over to you. Oh, no, sorry. Membership numbers.
Membership, we're at 554. That's about 500.
Okay. 554, and I can say with certainty that is about 25 more than the last time that we checked in February, February, one of those two. Anyway, with that, I will turn it over to the treasurer.
Just to be kind of quick on this, as you can see, we've got the balance year to date. The last report of 2020 show our balances there, and then our balances as of 5/11, 67,460 for the APCO, Missouri APCO checking account, 6,731 for the partnership training separate line item. So total assets is 4,391. In the treasurer's report, which I will make available for the ongoing minutes, you'll see all the charges.
Yes.
Correction, 12/31/20 balance, total assets listed as 69,792. That's the same amount as the checking balance. And the partnership training. According to my calculation, total assets of 12/31/20 should be 76,063.
It's been changed. So it should change.
I'll do Thank you.
I'll entertain a motion to approve the treasurer's report as amended. Andy Bailey moves, JR seconds. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. And with that, I'll turn it over to Cheryl for the executive council report.
Okay. Just really quick, I appreciate you guys all being here first off. This is a new position for me, so I'm kind of learning the ropes on this. I did get an email yesterday, and anybody that's an APCO member should have got this. This is an advocacy alert from APCO regarding the 911 Saves Act. So they're asking us as members again to sign the petition and to advocate for the 911 Saves Act for all telecommunications throughout the country. So make sure you check your email for that. Also, as a reminder, the APCO conference is taking place in San Antonio in August. So please, if you have any interest in going, if there's anybody that's looking for an easier or less expensive way to go, remember volunteer opportunities are available. If you volunteer 4 hours a day, you can go to the conference for free. So that's a huge opportunity for agencies that may not have a lot of funding to be able to send people. That if they volunteer, they can get that free registration and then just attend classes like a proctor. I do that every year, even as an executive council representative, I'm volunteering, so we don't have to pay for me to attend a sub-presenting. So there's a lot of opportunities to do that. If you have any questions, make sure to get with me. I'm presenting, Roger's presenting, Zach's presenting, so we have really good representation from Missouri. And also for benefit, anybody that volunteers, the first 200 people will have $100 that will come back to our chapter for each of our volunteers. So there's that benefit too. So make sure you do that. That's really all I have. Does anybody have any questions on the international front for April? Right, that's my report.
Thank you, Cheryl. Okay, also from APCO International, I'm going to welcome Mike O'Connor. He is our North Central Regional Representative. I did say that correctly, correct? Okay. Yeah,
There's
come
a,
up,
there's a
go on.
headline too.
He's our North Central Regional Representative from APCO. He covers Missouri as well as several different states, and I'll let him go through the rest of that.
Thanks, and good afternoon. First, thank you for the invitation to the conference. I also serve as treasurer of the conference. Very interested to see all the different Very already started off, but that's okay. First, a couple personal notes for me about the Roger program and the executive council. When I came on, I never really got a law school. I'm sure it's the same here, but he was a great asset to the executive council. I'm sure it's already doing a great job and very, very well represented on the executive level for the national goals. Charlie, just want to say that, even if I don't say that at the conference, I want to make sure that San Antonio will be a safe environment. I also am on the conference committee. San Antonio has hosted several events already. They've got the process down. There'll be semester conference sessions so that they can clean the rooms more thoroughly, disinfect everything. They're going to have hand sanitizer, PPE, that kind of stuff everywhere. We've got SeaWorld for the block party this year. So that should be a great time. So as Cheryl said, if you're looking for an easier way to be able to go, volunteering is great. Earlier today, the statewide 911 advisory board, is that the right one I spoke at?
Close enough.
Close enough, okay.
It's close.
We spoke about the lift deck, and I'm only going to take about 2 quick minutes just to give you the brief overview. If you want, I'd be happy to talk on the side later. But the lift deck was introduced back in March. And what it would do is funnel roughly $15 billion to the 911 centers throughout the country to develop and implement next generation 911. And APCO is advocating for it along with several other major public safety organizations. And if you were at the statewide meeting, or maybe more important if you weren't, well, I and representatives from NENA spoke, and back from, and there's been people talking saying that NENA doesn't support the legislation. NENA does support the legislation. They have concerns about how some of the things are worded, and fairly and rightly so. But our end game and goal is the same, which is to get the money in the hands of the states to get the 911 centers the technology needed to move forward. I think that's about all. My memory's going.
Hey, we gotta move this to
I'm happy to answer any questions on the national level, or if there's something real quick on LIFT or the SAVES Act, or else I can point to my friends from NENA in the back room, they can help me with it also.
Now is the time to ask. So we're lucky enough to have several national people at our meetings. So if you have any questions, I'm loud enough. Okay, now is the time to ask. There are several people from the national associations at our meetings, so this would be a perfect time to ask any questions or clarifications that you may have, or how to get involved.
So I'd like to better understand that on the Lift America Act, once approval, do you have any idea of a timeline, or is there any information you have in regards to the timeline on how quick that money will funnel down to the
I don't. Do you? Is there any guess how the projected timeline will be before the money will start falling down? I don't know.
Demonstrate what the example they set. So the last monies that were in the grant award program was from the 2012 Middle Class Tax Act, which is monies we're just not using. It took them 7 years to define the grant rules and process.
about signs. We're still a ways there, and we're heading in the right direction. So,
But the
but I
most
don't.
important thing is that the Senate companion bill, the 911 Saves Act, dropped Monday. So now there are two pieces of legislation, one in the House and one in the Senate. If you guys can really just do what Apple and me are asking you to do and sign that, we all have tools on our website to show your support for that legislation because we all want our people to be first responders.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you, Mike.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, Mike will also be joining us this evening during the awards banquet to install the officers. So let's thank him for that as well. Okay, item number 7 is a legislative update, and we have Mr. Scott Penman up here. He is our lobbyist for all 3 associations, and he will provide that.
Thanks for the opportunity. I'll try and be quick and then take any questions, obviously, to clarify. So we had a handful of issues we worked on this year on your behalf. One, clarifying the 901 sales tax districts are covered by sovereign immunity statutes. When the last round of work was done legislatively on that section of statute, districts were not explicitly listed. So there's some concern whether or not they're covered by the sovereign immunity, which is kind of a cap on your liability as a government entity. So we clarified that, added that to legislation. Secondly, within the original 911 legislation from 4 years ago, we needed to go back and clarify that those same sales tax districts could apply to the state trust fund for grants and loans without having to go through their county. So essentially, the way the current law is written, hopefully when the governor signs it will change. The current law for your sales tax district, you have to go through, you can get a resolution, kind of an agreement with your county council to pass that, to get through the application process. In the future, when we get this signed, changed, then you'll be able to apply directly. It was original intent, just needed kind of cleaning up. Other issues worked on, the use tax statute. We were just talking to some other folks about this before I came in. Some counties passing a use tax aren't shifting the portion of the use tax that should go to the 911 district. They're just pocketing that. So we're trying to, it took us quite a while to kind of get language that would address the many different scenarios in which that could occur, and just weren't able to get that across the finish line this year. We'll go back next year. I think we'll have a really good opportunity to get that done. The Wayfair tax did pass, so that means internet sales tax in the state will start to, taxes will become applicable to internet sales within the state, and so that should help also increase some revenues for local municipalities and others on the sales tax level. We're going to have to work, I think, next year to get that use tax to make sure it merges properly with how they pass the Wayfair, and that's going to it'll just take a little bit of effort. We also then, unfortunately, weren't able to get past the legislation that would allow second-class telecommunicators to enroll in loggers in the retirement system. Third-class counties are covered. Above that class, they're kind of have systems. We just have this gap. It was included in the same legislation that would have added, essentially defining telecommunicators as first responders, and we just couldn't get that kind of through some of the process to get it done on time. The chair of the Public Safety Committee in the House is kind of is very interested in the topic on the first responders generally and specifically within that retirement conversation. So what we're planning to do is kind of during the interim between now and next January, work with him to get better education of legislators and of our folks. Like, what does that mean? What's the effect of changing to get telecommunicator definitions, first responder? Perhaps within the federal level act, there'll be some, ways we can kind of partner with that to build on that momentum as well. So we'll try and get that done next year. There was also legislation passed that clarifies any new TIFs would not be able to pull in 911 funds. So if you're in a sales tax county and they're bringing a TIF in, where they take that tax money and they push it to the side instead of collecting it to for its intended purposes, they collect it and use it to fund whatever. We've got, I don't know the number, 100 plus TIFs across the state. So in the future, you won't lose revenue if there's a TIF within your county. We are also added money to the budget. We passed the 911 legislation 4 years ago. We funded the cost for the implementation for the Department of Revenue software through those prepaid collections. So it kept the first $800,000. That money went into the general revenue fund. We needed it to go back to DOR, and it just didn't happen. So we had to work it this year. We gave the Department of Revenue said it would cost less now to implement that software. So we got $466,000 put in the budget to go to the Department of Revenue so that they can stop tabulating the 3% prepaid fees using an Excel spreadsheet. And they can actually give both vendors, retailers a quicker, easier ability to pay, and then a better way to calculate compliance and send that over to the state 911 board. So we hopefully will get better compliance, better payment. My expectation is they'll increase the rate of collection. So that should be a good thing for kind of everyone, right? Help fund local and the state pool. And then the other $300,000 that had originally been taken out, we actually got that money dedicated back to the state 911 trust fund, so it'll go into funds for the board to use for grants and loans. So that's a myriad of other issues. The governor still has to sign legislation. We'll be drafting and hopefully asking the associations to send a letter supporting the budget language, the budget additions, as well as the 2 statutory changes we included in Senate Bill 26 that's on his desk. TIF stuff we probably don't even need to do anything about, quite frankly. And happy to try and answer your questions about those or other random tidbits. My best report today.
Okay, so next we will have the 911 Service Board report, and I've got a shared recording. There we go.
You step over here, sir. Step over here, so we'll be on camera. All right, so we all were in the state board meeting, which was immediately previous to this one. The big thing, of course, it covers the legislative stuff that's kind of helping out as far as grants and stuff. Big thing to look forward is coming up probably within the next few weeks. We're putting out the information for the next round of grants.
Yep.
Money won't be coming out until after the new fiscal year. The board's fiscal year will start July 1st. Other than that, we can kind of support some of the other legislative stuff, get a lot of pieces in place. One of the things we're working with is EMD statewide. We're trying to work, we've got several committees working on that stuff. Other than that, we meet every month. We're really busy as far as state boards go. There's a lot of work goes into that one. So, a lot of, I think probably one of the bigger things is, the money's coming in. We're putting together grant opportunities. We've had, during the meeting, we had some folks come forward. Anyway, here's Jeff. But, we've had several counties, band together to provide 911 and get 911 services in counties that previously didn't have 911 service. And that's the whole thing that's been from the very beginning, is for us to get, where you have 911 operator answering your call and able to locate you where you call from the state. So we're making progress on that. And like I said, some of it's through money, some of it's through, people working together, partnering with their neighbors. So that's really the best thing. So we're doing what we can to help facilitate that and move that along. So, any questions?
Cool. Thank you, sir. And I'll turn it over to Roger for the training partnership report.
Thank you.
Training partnership, COVID, kind of wrecked training around the country and around the state. We've done our best. We way down on numbers, instructors have had to drop off because they could not get continuing education hours, which were required for us and for APCO and for other national level institutions that do training. But we're coming back strong. Zach in November started up our virtual training platform, which has not cost us very much, as you can see by the treasury report. So it's a good deal. He's been coordinating training with our partnership instructors, out-of-state instructors, going strong. So reaching both Missouri and other states. And we are just had our first new instructor at this year, so we're excited to have somebody. And I will go, the full training report is available on PS Connect if you want to read it. It talks about our funds, and we do how much we train, so I won't go into all that detail. Another great way to become involved with Missouri APCO and with the state of Missouri is training. Really a way to get in there, so if you're a trainer, instructor in the state, CTO, someone that does continuing education in your agency, join the partnership. It's a win-win. It's free. Come in, we certify you, or we take your certification from another agency or another nationally known, recognized state agency, and we share our entire library of lesson plans with you in your agency. And all we ask is that when you're giving training, think about inviting your neighbors in, have training with you. It's that simple. So, training partnership, great tool. The next report I have, the next thing I have, the chair of the Pro-Chart Committee, which is another fantastic way to get involved with Missouri APCO. We run with the ambassadors, original ambassadors, myself and others, run several programs that are people programs. We do look at training, we do look at involvement, we do look at recruiting, we do look at getting people into working with Missouri APCO, looking at the national level with APCO International. We do all those things. We also do a recognition program that we sell directly, not sharing it from APCO International, from the Pro-Chart National Committee, which is called Teammates in Action, Missouri Teammates in Action. And you nominate someone who's done a great job that day, that month. And we've had, I want to say, 9 since we instated in 2019. We give them we put them on the website and on our Facebook pages and our other accounts for social media and show them off a little bit. It's a good way to recognize your people. It's a recognition program, not an award program, so we don't want to take away from annual awards in any way. But, we recognize those people who are doing a good job. So peers can nominate peers. You can nominate people that work in your center that we don't think of sometimes, like your IT specialists, your GIS managers, things like that. People that work super hard to keep public safety communications running around the state. So information is on the website. Go in and kind of look at it. And it's a good tool to recognize your people for just being a dispatcher, as I said. That's a class on that. I'm just a dispatcher. For doing a great job that day, that week, for that incident. And we've had teams, individuals, multiple agencies recognize all at the same time. So it's a great tool. So if you want to join Pro-Chart, come see me, and we'll take care of that issue. No problem. We'll turn back to you unless there are other questions about either training or Pro-Chart. Come to the training meeting tomorrow morning at 8:30. We'll be at the round table. It'll also stream through Teams, so if you want to make a whatever.
Thank you, Roger. Okay, so the next report is mine, and it's Totes of Hope. In our last in-person meeting, which was September of 2019, the board passed the Totes of Hope program. For those of you who may not be aware of the Totes of Hope program, what it is MOAPCO has sponsored what began as 5 totes distributed throughout the state, throughout the different regions, through our regional ambassadors turned regional coordinators, full of little goodie items that we can deploy to a center following an officer-involved shooting or a line of duty death or a traumatic call with a child. That just kind of helps the telecommunicators involved take their mind off of it and help them just help them not disassociate but cope. So since we implemented that in 2019, between September and December 31, we had absolutely no deployments. In 2020, we kicked off running, and in total, we had 23 deployments in 2020. But we reached out to 32 times to different centers after us as a board became aware of a critical incident. So far in 2021, we've deployed 7 times. We're on track to surpass what we did last year, and we've reached out to 14 different centers. That's just with us as a board keeping our ear down. If you guys, anybody out there who is involved and has knowledge or neighbors or stuff, and you hear something that your neighboring agency has gone through, and you're like, we need that tote to go out, there's a form on our website that you can fill out, or you can reach out to one of the board members, and we'll get it going, okay? We do have some criteria in place to make sure it's not going out for Jimmy stubbed his toe or something like that, because we want those totes to be available for deployment during critical incidents. But it is a good project. It's something that is getting national attention, and the Nevada chapter is also implementing it on their side. So that's some cool information out there. I'm really pleased to see how far this has gone. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Miss April Ford, if she's still in here.
Yep.
Okay, for our MPSCC report.
And I think we all agree it's been one hell of a conference so far.
And as you all know, it didn't happen without an amazing committee, so we have been very blessed this conference. I don't want to count my chickens before they're hatched, but I think things have gone extremely well. We've had about 226 attendees, which is good. Numbers are down a little bit, but that's to be expected with a lot of agencies being held back and not able to travel because of COVID. So we have seen an amazing turnout in the commercial partner side with the expo. I'm sure you guys all noticed it was huge. It was huge. There was 55 booths down there, so we had 55 commercial partners. We actually had more than that. But we had 55 commercial partners with booths down there. 23 of them were sponsors. So that is an amazing number, a huge, huge accomplishment. A lot of work went into that with Mike, or with Matt, and then of course Penny working with Matt and helping him out. We've heard nothing but good out of them. Everybody has said great things. So many new commercial partners this time. Just a huge amount of new commercial partners. Of course, sorry, that's not. It's weird. But it's good, and it's a good thing to do. Such a huge amount of just new attendees that have never attended the conference before from agencies that some of us were like, I didn't even know you had a PSAT. So we're very, very excited about that. And of course, PSAT and Service Board meeting, you saw that there's a lot of consolidation going, or virtual consolidation going on to be able to bring some agencies up to the way of doing things, where they're not a basic medical one anymore, they're actually going to be enhanced for phase 2. We're really excited about that with next gen and the SNETs going in some areas. So really looking forward to that. But as far as the conference goes, I think there's been a lot of information sharing and a lot of networking. We have seen our numbers a little bit lower on the meal side, which is to be expected. But the benevolence fund was reported to, on the cash side, to have brought in $661, which is more than it's ever brought in since we had MPSCC doing it. And the 50/50 raffle will go tomorrow. So things are going very well. I fully anticipate we'll have a lot of revenue made for the 3 associations. Obviously, we'll make up for everything we lost last year out of the conferences, but it will help. With the cancellation, so Missouri APCO stands to make a third of what the other associations make off of the full conference, which is great. And our next conference is in the fall. We're going to open registration early because I hear that there's some stuff filing up against it. Our next conference is in Springfield at the Oasis, and it's September 27th, 28th, and 29th. And if you just remember, that's a symposium and a director's workshop, and we're going to really focus heavily on Next Gen 911 for the director's workshop, which we're really excited about to get some good training out there, get people ready to go. And I would say watch for scholarship opportunities. We have MONINA, MOAPCO, the Missouri 911 Directors Association offers scholarship opportunities. Sometimes people don't even put in for those, which is really unfortunate. I hate to see that. There's a good possibility we might have some other scholarship opportunities. We're just kind of waiting to see how that plays out. Anybody have any questions for me? Thank you.
Thank you. On behalf of the Missouri APCO, I would like to thank you so much for all the work that you do, because none of this would happen without your coordination. I mean, the team is great, and they all handle different aspects of it, but you keep the lions in the ring, so to speak. So thank you so much. Okay, so we're running a little bit low on time. However, there's nothing butting up behind us, so we're going to go on a little bit past 5 o'clock. There are action items in this next section, so please, if you're willing to stay, please do stay, because we got some really cool opportunities here. So the first new business item, I'm going to move that, otherwise I'm going to, what? No, she's not. She skipped out on that. So the first action in new business is to approve our bylaw and policy manual. So those should have been sent out via PS Connect to the membership at least 30 days ago, I believe is when we put it out. So give you just a second and I'll entertain a motion to approve. Are you going to second? Who's motioning?
I'll make a motion to accept.
Okay, Cheryl's making the motion. Cheryl motions, Dawn seconds. Any discussion? Okay, Roger has discussion. Again.
Sorry, I lost my chair. Sorry. I want to see this on because I was going to run this. I would like to beg the quorum's indulgence. Normally.
You need to talk. Or use this one.
Okay. Thank you. I'd like to thank the quorum's indulgence. On Monday, we received back the bylaws and policy manual from International APCO's bylaws committee with some recommendations. They're mostly administrative. So with the approval of the quorum, I would like to add those to the changes we discuss and approve or disapprove today. They are primarily administration. This is kind of outside the realm, but if we don't approve them today, we'll have to go through the entire process again and approve them in the fall, since they are primarily administrative. I'd just like to show them to you and see if we can get approval on all of this at one time. If the quorum agrees. Any negative, Mr. President, are there any negative votes?
Does anybody say nay? No.
All right, so we'll just go through this real quick here. The National Committee recommended that where we have meeting information about quorums, I'm not sure if you can see this, but what they're recommending that we add is any one or more members of the body may participate in a meeting by means of telephone or web conferencing or similar communications equipment, allowing all persons participating and limiting to hear each other at the same time. We've been doing that forever, we just didn't have it in our bylaws. So a fairly administrative change. And I've also added that to when we have board of officers meetings that we can participate electronically as well. And you may see it here. The other primary thing that the National Committee recommended is that we take section out of our, we used to say section 5.3, Article 5, section 5.3. They recommended we remove that. So apparently that's passé in parliamentary writing the bylaws at this time. And then those of you that didn't, the other primary member that you had, that's basically all the National Bylaws Committee had. They thanked us for letting them review our bylaws, and we're grateful for seeing bylaws that were in such excellent shape to begin with. So they only had a couple of recommendations that were small. This is the primary thing that we were adding that you've seen for 45 days, is adding the immediate past president position back into the bylaws. And we had originally had without term limit. It was unnecessary, but national bylaws said to take that out. So we would now read the immediate past president pursuant to section 6.5 of these bylaws serves until their successor is installed in the office. So the immediate past president will serve until successor. And that was the only changes that they had. The rest were all PS connected. So if we agree to accept those.
I'll entertain a motion to, okay.
Yes.
Chairman,
And then the motion to include the changes that APCO International recommended.
show motions to amend the changes. Any seconds?
I'll second.
Don will second that amended. Any discussion this time? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Now with the carrying of that motion, I should have changed that around. I didn't know you had already included the past president position in there. So the next item of business is to reinstate the office of past president.
That was in the bylaws.
Kind of redundant now. So through the last motion, that one automatically carries. So Steve will join us as an officer, as a past president, and have powers as set forth in the bylaws.
Thank you so much.
Our third item for new business is the life member nomination. So back in March, on March 18th, I received a memo as set forth in our policy manual, I believe, a memo indicating 3 people who have met qualifications for life membership through the chapter. So with the following people, with the exception of one, please stand up as I call your name. Stephen Hoskins, Angie Stieferman, and then joining us from the interwebs is Sarah Lynn Hayes. So I'm going to read your qualifications, and you can continue to stand, please. We're going to start with, hopefully she's standing, Sarah Lynn. So according to this memo, issued by Cheryl Karnarski and Roger Martin, I would like to nominate the following chapter members for chapter life membership designation through the Missouri chapter of APCO. Sarah Lynn Hayes has, we believe, is qualified as follows. She has been a member of APCO for at least 15 years, starting March 6, 2000, per chapter APCO records. Has been a MOAPCO member for at least 15 years, has made 3 of the following significant contributions towards the meeting needs of APCO or National APCO. She served on the Board of Officers from March 2017 to March 2021 as Ambassador of the Northwest Region, engaging with area ECCs to promote APCO membership, available training, and collecting feedback from frontline telecommunicators. She has served as a MPSCC conference subcommittee chair on, co-chair on the events committee, and she serves as a coordinator on the Totes of Hope program for the Northwest region, deploying several times since the center's inception. For Steve Hoskins, we believe Steve is qualified as follows. He's been a member of APCO for at least 15 years, starting November 23rd, 2005. He's been a MOAPCO member for at least 5 years. He's made 3 of the following significant contributions towards meeting the needs of MOAPCO and or National APCO, as serving on the Board of Officers for at least 4 years, Vice President from 2014 through March 2017, and President from March 2017 to March 2021, and is the immediate past President. He served as a MOAPCO Standing Committee Chair for the Legislative Committee from 2013 to 2017 and has made major contributions by working with legislators as we moved our 911 funding through and made it into a reality. And he served as the MOAPCO Executive Representative to the MPSCC from 2017 to 2021. And we believe that Angie is qualified as follows. She has been a member of APCO for at least 15 years, starting June 29, 2006. She has been a MOAPCO member for at least 5 years, and she has served on the Board of Officers as an ambassador to the Central Region, engaging with area ECCs to promote APCO membership, available training, and collecting feedback from frontline telecommunicators. Serves as an MPSCC Conference Standing Committee Chair, as co-chair for the Training Committee for 3 years, and serves as a coordinator for the Totes of Hope program for the Central Region since its inception, and is the primary Missouri Professional Training Partnership instructor for the Central Region, and has traveled on numerous occasions to support training outside the region. And I still messed up that word. So with the reading of this memo, I would like to entertain somebody submitting a motion to accept the proposed life memberships. Roger Martin and JR for the second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations to our new life members. With designation of life membership, you also get to be a free member of the association for life. You don't have to pay anymore. Congratulations. Okay, so Sarah Lynn, I will try to call her back again. Her cell phone kept dropping, but she's got our state fair report. Let me see if she'll answer this time. If not, we'll have to move on.
Hello.
Hi, congratulations, Sarah Lynn.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much. What a surprise.
So we are also on to the next thing of new business, which happens to be your state fair report. Do you have anything to report?
So main thing, the Missouri State Fair is August 12th. Oh, thank you very much.
Huh?
Okay, there's real delay in the Facebook Live, so let me turn that off because I'm just like so confused right now. So.
Okay.
Okay, sorry. Facebook Live is like serious delay. Okay, Missouri State Fair, August 12th through 22nd in Sedalia, and we have partnered. We tried to partner last year, and because of COVID, it was canceled. So we partnered with the Firefighters Association. We'll be in the fire building this year and have a booth set up there. And then in return, the Firefighters Association has a booth in the vendor hall at the conference there. We still have giveaways and so forth left over from last year that we have to donate. I'm guessing in the next month or so, I'll send out an email partnering with the 3 associations again. We'll send something out to all of our members asking for volunteers to help work the booth. The hours are shorter because the hours at the fire station would have us at the booth are shorter than the old building that we used to be in. But I think it's going to be a great partnership. I think it's going to be a lot of fun and much more interactive than what we've had in the past. So look for an email from me in the future to send out to all the members, just asking them to help and sign up.
Okay. Any questions for Sarah Lynn? Okay. Thank you, Sarah Lynn.
Thank you very much, guys. I miss you. Wish I was there.
Wish you were here too.
All right, thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so that does it for new business. We're going to move on to old business. We've already covered our first item on there. Our second item is the challenge coin design. Back in 2018, yes, 2018, we ended our acceptance of challenge coins designs, and Roger Martin submitted 2, and that was our 2 that we received. So it's been long enough that I think we can officially take a vote or a motion on selecting our official Missouri APCO challenge coin. No. So these are the two submissions that we did receive. We'll let you guys have a few minutes to look it over, and then if you have the want or desire to move to accept one of them, I would be willing to accept that.
For ease of talking, let's call this one 1 and this one 2.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept number 1.
I will second that motion.
Cheryl motions to accept number 1, which is the far right on your screen, far left on your screen, your side. And Matt Knight seconds that motion. Any discussion? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We have an official challenge coin. Motion carries. Okay. Any other old business? Yes.
I think I would like to take just a moment in closing
Yeah.
and thank our commercial partner that sponsored today's event.
Matt.
Mission Critical Partners. We thank you so very much. One of the things that we have with our sponsor for this year's event, for actually all 3 associations, the Missouri Animal Breakfast Association, Missouri APCO Association, and Missouri NEMA is Mission Critical Partners. Mission Critical Partners. It's actually also awarded the next gen 911 feasibility study, working in conjunction with the 911 Service Board to obviously move efforts along for us here in the state. So I know they're working diligently. They've got an entire team. And David's working very closely and participated in a number of the calls that are going on to help provide information and education out to the regions. I know that Brian Madewell and Casey and Scott Penman have obviously been doing their quarterly calls on education. And David, I know I participated in every single one of those, but we thank you in the education process that you started and obviously will continue to do with regards to the feasibility study. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other pieces of old business or new business?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, Cheryl makes a motion to adjourn. Roger seconds. All in favor, get up and walk away.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming. And
I need some new chairs, so if you want to get involved, bylaw, election. Oh, we finally adjourned.
you did. What was that?
Are you okay? I know, I was like, I saw it, I was like,
She wants to do it.
cool.
So I will be getting your contact. I've got contact
I'll see you then.
Okay,
Thank you, thank you.
Are you going to stick around for things
Yeah,
tonight?
yeah, I'll be back. I didn't bring mine.
Okay, no problem. Thank you so much. Okay.
So we're probably, thank you.
I wanted it to be a surprise, so I swore everybody who knew about it. I was like, they can't. I'm so happy.
Yeah,